Hi everybody, and welcome to part 3 of Learn to Drive at an Older Age. If you've not seen the other 2 videos I've recorded, then I'm going to put a link at the top of a playlist and in the description below. And if you're new to the channel and you've not subscribed, then click on that subscribe button and you'll get my weekly updates of other videos on the channel. Let's get going. So compared to an average 17-18 year old, their number of hours to take the driving test from start to finish is going to be anything from 30 to 40 to 50 hours, probably on the top end of 50 if they're making slow progress and not trying hard. It's probably going to be in that range for a 17, 18, 19 year old. So on average about 40 hours is probably going to take them. You've got less commitments at that point, so as an older driver you've got more commitments, and the more commitments for you would be work. You work full-time, or you've finished work but you've got lots of outside commitments. For an older driver, for the hours, average hours, you're probably adding an extra 10 to 15 hours on top of the average, so you may be talking 50 to 60 hours on average. Depends on the person. And I've talked about the more you can prepare yourself for the lesson in advance, and the more you can prepare yourself at the end of the lesson for the next one, the better you're going to get out of it. Now, regarding the driving lessons, obviously this is down to financial situations, but if you can do a 2-hour lesson, great. It might be difficult having a 2-hour lesson because of your age. So having frequent lessons is the key. There's no point in having a lesson every 2 weeks, because it's going to make progress, but it's going to be very slow progress, because every time you get back in that car, it's going to feel like you've had a long holiday in between. So, but if you can have, just say you can't do a longer lesson, try having 2 short lessons in that week. One on the weekend and one in midweek, or one on the Monday, one on the Friday. So you can do things like that. You can break things up, or have 2 1.5-hour lessons. It all depends on you, your finances, and obviously the instructor who's going to be helping you. So do discuss this with their instructor, what their availability is, and whether they can accommodate 2 lessons a week if that's what you want. If you're having 1 lesson a week, be prepared for it to take a lot longer than you think, because if you think about, I'm saying an average 50 hours it's going to take you, and you're having 1 hour a week, that's nearly a year, isn't it? And you're going to miss a few weeks because of holidays, you're going to miss the odd week because of illness, whether it be you or your instructor or a family member that you've got to take care of. So you're talking over a year of having driving lessons to commit yourself to, and that's what you've got to think like. Don't think, right, I'm going to start it now, it's going to be done in a few months, because that's not going to work that way. You're going to put a lot much pressure on yourself that it's going to be harder. But if you're having a couple of lessons a week, then it's speeding things up, isn't it? And all of a sudden it goes from being a year to 6 months if you're having, say, 2 1-hour lessons a week. But if I was in your shoes, if you could do a longer lesson, an hour and a half, then I'd go for the hour and a half, because I say to lots of my students, the first 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, you're going to feel like you're rusty, you can't remember much, you're going to be struggling to remember little bits. And as you get into the lesson, as it goes on, you're going to start to make more progress at that point. But if it's an hour long, and it's all down to individuals, you've got to remember, if it's an hour long and you're not tired after an hour, then probably do an hour and a half. That's what I would do. But if you're getting to like 45 minutes and you're feeling the pace of it, and it's getting a bit tiring for you, then probably an hour is going to suit you. But do try and do regular lessons, because the regular they are, whether it be once a week, twice a week if you can, then it's going to make a massive difference to you making progress and getting from A to B, from start to finishing and passing that driving test. And just keep reminding yourself why you're doing this, why you're putting yourself through that little stress, why you're learning something new that's going to be a skill for the rest of your life. And it's because you want to do things differently. You want to drive to places, you want to pick up people, whether it be your grandson, granddaughter, or your family member. You're sick of public transport, so that's what you're going to do. You're learning something new. Now, remember, in the UK, before you can book your driving test, you need to pass the theory test. So start preparing for that. Even if you haven't got driving lessons, start getting out the book, the theory test book, or if you're mobile friendly, start getting an app on your mobile to start quizzing yourself on the questions that the highway code are going to ask you. Okay, because in the theory test in the UK, you're going to get asked 50 questions in the theory test, and there's a hazard perception part as well. So the first part is 50 questions, multiple choice. A couple of them are case study questions, which if you do a bit of research on the theory, I might put a link below on theory information if you need to know that. And then the second part of the theory test is hazard perception, where you're clicking on, I would say, video clips, but now it's CGI clips of hazards that are happening ahead of you. Okay, so you need to be preparing for that one, because if you're thinking, and lots of learners are actually quite slow at this one, they'll take the time thinking they've got loads of time, and if you don't take it serious, the theory test, it's going to drag on and drag on, because I think the waiting time is about a month. Okay, so prepare to pass that theory test while you're having your driving lessons at the same time. The final one, which I've probably mentioned this prior to this on the previous lessons, is don't be afraid to ask questions with your instructor. You know, don't be afraid to ask him, why we're doing this, why did that happen then, whether it be a stall or the car's cut out on you, or why the instructor's saying you need to give way here. If you don't understand the rules, you're going to rely on your instructor to tell you what's going on. So ask the questions, and they're probably going to give you a brief on each subject, because that's what good instructors do. They'll brief you on how to move off, how to stop, left turns, right turns, junctions, and anything else that crops up in the future on further subjects. Okay, good luck on the driving lessons, and I'm hoping these short videos are helping you to prepare for your lessons and eventually prepare to pass that driving test. Take care.